Good evening. Big thank you to Michelle, the other organizers, and esteemed audience members. That is you. My name is Gary. I am the co-founder of the Decentralized Dance Party and a lifelong lover of freedom and a radical decentralization advocate for many years. 5 minutes is not much time to recount a completely wild 10-year saga, but here we go. I'm a filmmaker who is way into open source, libertarianism, and partying. Although systems-minded, I've always intuited the importance of silliness, letting loose, and radical self-expression. For many years, I've been completely obsessed with the ideas and ideals of maximizing freedom, creation, and loving connection throughout humanity. After developing the Decentralized Dance Party for many years and taking it on tour across Canada, it was confirmed that open source, capital P, partying was surely the most powerful force to wage peace and unite against the forces of darkness. It was during this time that I also recognized the emergent decentralization paradigm way back in 2010, 2011. This is basically, I define decentralization as the decentralization of power, which has been largely initiated by the rise of the internet and the open source movement. It's a lot to explain, but basically open source everything is the ultimate goal to aim for if our objective was to create a decentralized world. With my background in open source and libertarian ideas, I instantly recognized Bitcoin when I was first introduced to it in 2011 as an event horizon and the biggest technological development since agriculture. It was during this time I upgraded my political vision from libertarianism to full-on anarchism, which most people don't realize doesn't mean no rules. It means no rulers, total freedom. How can we achieve that? Let me tell you. I was really interested in the Occupy movement when it first dawned in 2011 as a decentralized movement and proposed there through a whole lot of boomboxes during a speech that the message of the movement should not be fighting banks, rich people, police, etc., but the notion that we didn't have the power to come together right now and build the new world that we wanted to live in. Proposing open monetary systems and other things as the answer. Not many people were ready for the message at this time, so we continued hosting parties all the way across Canada, USA, and the world. Fast forward, 2013, the dawn of Dogecoin. This is the fun and silly version of Bitcoin, and these people were sending the Jamaican bobsled team to the Olympics, putting the Doge head, there it is, on NASCARs and all kinds of craziness. This was super inspiring because it was the power of Bitcoin with the real ultimate power of silliness, and these two things combined, in my opinion, were the keys to unlocking the future we deserved and desired. But yes, the vision of the DDP at that time was also evolving to open sourcing the movement by the official DDP field manual to having people all over the world doing these parties, doing a worldwide tour, and hosting a simultaneous global dance party that would unite the world in celebration and I'm pretty sure win us the Nobel Peace Prize for partying. And then during our acceptance speech, we would make the proposal that every country of the world allocate their defense budget for the next year to partying. That's $1 trillion dedicated to partying. And the best plan I've yet heard for achieving world peace. Wow. It was also at this time that I launched the Bypass movement, which was intended to be the evolution of the Occupy movement, and wrote something called Privacy is the Enemy, aka a grand decentralization theory, which was a way to create a fully open society that wouldn't have any sort of decentralized legal system. Much to explain. Anyhow, we kept going for the next 6 years, promoting capital P partying as far and wide as possible, along with crypto and decentralization. at Burning Man and many conferences around the world. This was also the dawn of the Jammy Pack portable speaker. No more boomboxes required for the parties. And through it all, although great headway was made, there were still a lot of interpersonal problems within the DDP and decentralization movement. Tribalism, infighting, egos, and the resistance mindset still lingered. It was at around this time that I ended up in the sacred waterfalls of Bali, whereupon I came to the realization that the notion of creating a fully transparent society on a ridiculous scale was indeed ridiculous, and that instead we should focus on creating a new world based out of love. Fast forward to DogeCon 2018, which was a 4-day bonanza dedicated to the teachings of the Doge, branding this whole thing as an acceptance movement, not a resistance, the notion that silliness is next to godliness. And FYI, Doge spelled backwards is egod or ego death. And if you are to partake in a Doge eye-gazing every morning, you'll realize that the Doge is just staring right back at you saying, stop it with that ego, that's ridiculous. You're doing it all wrong. And also the notion that if it's not fun, it's not sustainable or worthwhile, which is my steadfast belief. If we're trying to do anything, it must be fun to be sustainable and worthwhile. For example, bringing a pack of banana suits to Costa Rica. And yeah, fast forward to 2019. I was dealing with a lot of craziness this year. Anxiety issues while attempting to launch a party clothing line and keep everything afloat, working towards another party on World Peace Day. This led me to the discovery of breathwork, conscious connected breathing, which is the highly unforeseen solution to potentially healing lifelong traumas and PTSD, and learning a lot about boundaries which are necessary in order to maintain sovereignty and accountability. Ended up in Costa Rica a few weeks ago at an amazing Community as Medicine event and received this manual on decentralized governance systems, which I believe will be an essential piece to the puzzle. Decentralization to me isn't about new forms of voting for huge groups to impose their will and values on others. It's about exiting to create new aligned communities, which can be created by using the new technologies of 3D printed housing, solar power to power vertical farming and purify water. So you've got shelter and food taken care of right there. And within these small groups, I believe it is possible to work out our problems at a community level. So yeah, we're now here in Costa Rica at a wellness center getting grounded, continuing to learn breath and now Sistema martial arts practices, which is all about relaxing and allowing life to be enjoyable and easeful, basically. Meeting more turned on folks and contemplating the next steps for DDP and maximizing freedom, creation, and loving connection worldwide. And the question now posed to you, the audience, the esteemed audience, is how can we best wage peace and maximize freedom, creation, and loving connection in 2020? Don't get it wrong. Don't let us down.